So we'll now move on to our next submitter, who is Don Brash, who is joining us online. We can see you and we can hear you. Welcome to the Environment Select Committee. You have 5 minutes with us this morning. So we'll hand it over to you for your opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. My main concern on this bill is about housing affordability. I think housing affordability has been a major issue for New Zealand for at least 2 decades. I look back to 2010, when the then National Act government set up the Productivity Commission, and the very first thing it was charged with was advising how to make housing more affordable. At that point, the median house price in New Zealand was about 6 times the median household income, and that's regarded as very unaffordable. The Productivity Commission recommended several things, 3 of them involving the way in which local councils perform. The zoning, which in itself makes it difficult to get economies of scale when you can't get much land as a block, and they're very slow decision-making processes. Unfortunately, by the time the Labour government took office in 2017, the median house price was much higher relative to the median income, approaching 9%. The then Labour government committed to making land more available. Their speech from the throne in 2017 said that they would force Auckland Council to scrap the metropolitan urban limit. They didn't do so. As a consequence, by the time they left office, well, the time that government finished around 2021, the median house price was some 11 times the median household income, certainly in Auckland. And that is a scandal. I mentioned in my submission a 400 square metre section in Drury on the market for $735,000 plus GST. And as members will know, Drury is not Aoraki or Epsom. It's 35 kilometres from the centre of Auckland, and that is a national scandal. I'm hopeful that this bill will make an improvement in making more land available for housing, because frankly, it's the price of land which is driving the price of housing, and the social consequences of that are enormous. The only other point I would make briefly is that I strongly support the idea of making it easier to delist special character properties, because at the moment those frequently become derelict and unused and unable to be improved simply because of the cost of doing that. So I support this bill, and I very much hope it goes forward. I'm also hopeful, I must say, that the government will further reform the RMA, because I think this is only the first of several stages in that process. And I'm looking forward to the Minister's commitment to oblige city councils to zone enough land for the next 30 years. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much for that. Look, I'll start with a question, because in your submission you do focus on housing growth, and you say New Zealand's housing crisis stems from a lack of supply. So if we want house prices to come down, we must boost the supply of the land available for housing. Do you see this bill as helping facilitate that in terms of the priorities of going for housing growth in the regions across New Zealand?
I do, though, as I say, at the moment, Minister Bishop promised to oblige councils to zone enough land for 30 years of housing. I think that has not yet been formally done. So it's not yet a complete answer, but it's a step in the right direction.
Okay, thank you. And we've got a question from Simon Court.
Thank you, Mr. Brash. I'm interested in your opposition to some of the features of this bill, in particular, allowing insurance contracts for fines and infringement fees, actually making that unlawful. And I'm interested in your opinion as to why you think allowing for insurance contracts for fines and infringement fees should continue to be allowed.
I can't see a good reason for them not to be allowed. And I guess that the presumption has to be that something which is not damaging and deleterious should in principle be allowed. I can't see a downside in allowing those contracts to be insured.
Okay, if I could just clarify.
Yes.
One more. Do you think that businesses which commit an offence against Resource Management Act or a breach of their consents and get fined or have some kind of penalty, do you think that their insurers would be annoyed about that and maybe put their premiums up or refuse to insure them?
Of course. I think that's the way the market works.
And so do you think that would be sufficient tension to maybe get them to focus on meeting their obligations?
Well, I think it's a very strong incentive. Very strong incentive.
Thank you.
Look, thank you very much for your time today, Don. We have met time. You have a good day.
Thank you.